You're going to have days where you don't want to do anything. Days where getting out of bed feels like the hardest thing you've ever had to do in your life. And for some of you, the reason you're not at your goal right now is because you just all about your feelings. You all on your feelings. You don't feel like waking up. You don't feel like working. You don't feel like showing up. And then you wonder why nothing is changing. But listen, every single day you say no to your dream, you might be pushing your whole life back. 6 months, a year, maybe more. Because it's not just that one day. It's what that one day turns into. It becomes a pattern, a habit, a lifestyle. And that one decision to stay down, that one decision to skip the work, that one decision to delay what you said you wanted, it doesn't just cost you a day. It costs you momentum. It costs you confidence. It costs you discipline. And sometimes it costs you the version of your life you were supposed to be living right now. Some people only do it when they feel like it. They wake up Monday and they're motivated, so they grind. But by Wednesday, they disappear. They fall off like it's some optional class you can skip when you're not in the mood. And that's how months pass. That's how years pass. Not because they didn't have goals, but because they kept waiting for feelings to give them permission to move. Feelings are real, but feelings are not reliable. Feelings don't build your future. Feelings don't pay the bills. Feelings don't change your body. Feelings don't create results. Feelings will have you motivated on Monday and missing on Wednesday. Feelings will have you inspired in the morning and quitting by the afternoon. If your life is being led by how you feel, then your life will always stay inconsistent. The difference is simple. Some people wake up and say, "I don't feel like it." And they stop right there. They let that sentence decide the entire day. They let that sentence cancel the promise they made to themselves. But other people wake up and say, "I don't feel like it, and I'm doing it anyway." They don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for the perfect mood. They move because they have to. They move because it matters. They move because they understand something most people never learn. You don't rise to your goals, you rise to your standards. I don't have to feel it to show up. I don't have to feel it to work. I don't have to feel it to stay locked in. My future needs this. My family needs this. The people counting on me need this. The life I said I wanted needs this. I don't feel like practicing. I don't feel like waking up early. I don't feel like doing the uncomfortable work. But it does not matter what I feel like. This is bigger than my mood. This isn't just about me being comfortable. This is an opportunity of a lifetime, and I'm not going to waste it. You are where you are right now because you've been following feelings instead of following principles. Principles don't change when you're tired. Principles don't change when you're stressed. Principles stay the same. And when you live by principles, you don't negotiate with your purpose. You don't pick and choose when you want to be disciplined. You don't treat your calling like something you do only when you're in the mood. You don't build your future based on, "I feel like it." You build it based on, "I said I would." You've got the information, you've got the resources, you've got the plan, but none of that means anything if you don't have the discipline to get up and apply it. Knowledge is not power if it stays in your head. Potential is worthless if you never convert it into action. You can have all the tools in the world, but if you keep going back to bed every time it gets uncomfortable, your life is going to stay exactly the same. Before we fully dive in, I just ask for one small thing. If you can, take a second to like or hype the video. It really helps to reach more people who might need these words today. Thank you. Stop quitting things the moment you don't like how it feels. Stop starting over every time the excitement fades. Your dream has to become sacred. Because when something is sacred, you don't treat it like a hobby. You don't treat it like something you can drop whenever you're not feeling good. When something is sacred, you show up tired. You show up frustrated. You show up unmotivated. You show up anyway. Your dreams are good. Your dreams are worth fighting for. Keep aiming high. But understand this: big dreams require big consistency. Consistency is not something you do when you feel inspired. Consistency is what you do when you don't feel like it. It's not the days you feel strong that define you. Anybody can work when they feel strong. It's the days you feel tired, the days you feel overwhelmed, and you still do what you said you were going to do. That's consistency. People think commitment is just saying, yes, I'm going to do it. Yes, I'm going to change. But commitment is staying true to what you said you were going to do long after the mood you said it in has disappeared. Real commitment means you don't back out when it gets hard. When you don't feel like waking up early, you wake up anyway. When you don't feel like sacrificing, you sacrifice anyway. When you don't feel like being dedicated, you stay dedicated anyway. Because you understand that the process is producing something inside of you that you can't get any other way. The work is building you. The discipline is shaping you. The consistency is creating a version of you that can handle the future you want. Because the life you're chasing isn't going to be handed to you by motivation. It's going to be built by discipline. It's going to be built by the days you show up when you don't feel like it. So the question isn't, do you feel like it? The question is, are you going to live by your feelings, or are you going to live by your principles? Because the moment you stop obeying your mood and start obeying your mission, everything changes. Everybody asks, how did you crack the code? Like there's some secret shortcut, some hidden hack, some magic moment where everything changed overnight. But the truth is simple. I cracked it the same way you crack anything real in life. I worked my way through the cold. I kept going when it wasn't exciting. I kept moving when it wasn't comfortable. I kept showing up when it didn't feel rewarding yet. I got up every day when nobody was watching. I got up early when the world was still sleeping. And I didn't wait until it felt easy, because success doesn't show up when you feel ready. It shows up when you've built the discipline to do what needs to be done regardless of the circumstances. Monday I work, Tuesday I cry, and Wednesday I work again. I didn't stop because life hit me. I didn't stop because I had a bad day. I didn't stop because I wasn't feeling confident. I didn't stop because things got heavy. I just kept going. I kept giving. I kept improving. I kept learning. I kept getting stronger through repetition, through struggle, through consistency. And I want you to understand this clearly. I don't care what the economy is doing. I don't care who the president is. I don't care what's trending. I don't care what other people are saying. None of that determines whether I work. None of that controls my standards. Because if you let the world decide when you're allowed to chase your dream, you'll spend your entire life waiting. I get up at 3 a.m. when I want to, and I get up at 3 a.m. when I don't. When I feel like it, and when I don't feel like it. Why? Because I'm process-driven. I'm not feeling-driven. And champions are not controlled by feelings. Champions don't get to wake up and decide based on mood. Champions follow a standard. Champions follow a system. Champions follow a routine. Because there are championship coordinates in life, and you don't get to change them. You don't accidentally become elite. You become elite on purpose. You become elite by structure. You become elite because you're willing to do what average people refuse to do consistently. And the moment you start slowing down, the moment you start negotiating with your discipline, you better learn how to respond. You look that weakness in the eye and you say, I don't get tired. Not because you're superhuman, not because you never struggle, but because you refuse to let tired become your excuse. Tired doesn't mean you stop. Tired means you breathe and keep moving. Tired means you take a second and still show up. Tired means you crawl if you have to, but you do not quit. Because tired is temporary. Quitting has consequences. You have to keep fighting. You have to wake up and do your job. Your job is not just your paycheck. Your job is your purpose. Your job is the mission you were put here to handle. Your job is the future you said you wanted. And even if you're dragging through it, even if the energy isn't there, even if you're not at your best, you still get up and do it. Because there comes a point where you have to impose your will on life. You have to stop being the person life pushes around and become the person that applies pressure. Life will give in when it knows you're serious. Life will give in when it knows you're not playing with it. Life will give in when you stop quitting every time it gets uncomfortable. I run my body, I rule my mind, I tell myself what I'm going to eat. I tell myself when I'm going to train. I tell myself when I'm going to work. And even when I don't feel like it, I still do it because discipline is not just what I do, it's who I am. If you want to be successful, you have to rule yourself. You can't be the person who's controlled by cravings, controlled by distractions, controlled by emotions, controlled by comfort. Because if you can't control you, you will never control results. Everybody has a dream. Everybody has a goal. But having a dream isn't enough. Wanting it isn't enough. Talking about it isn't enough. The question is, what's your plan? Do you have structure? Do you have timing? Do you have steps? Or are you just hoping things improve? Map it out. Plan it out. Think about the season you're in and the time you're wasting. Make your move. Schedule action every day, especially on the difficult days, because a calendar doesn't have feelings. A schedule doesn't care if it's a holiday. It doesn't care if it's your birthday. It doesn't care if you're in a bad mood. It doesn't care if the world feels chaotic. The schedule is the schedule. And when you do it over and over and over again, you stop depending on motivation. It becomes a habit. It becomes automatic. It becomes normal. It becomes part of your identity. So ask yourself real questions. What are you doing on Monday? What are you doing on Tuesday? What time are you waking up on Saturday? What are you doing on the weekend when everybody else is relaxing? Because the results you want aren't built during the easy hours. They're built in the hours nobody respects. They're built when nobody's clapping. They're built when nobody's watching. Now listen, rest is not a problem. Rest is necessary. But you rest to recover, not to retreat. You rest so you can win, not so you can avoid the fight. You are not quitting. You are not giving up. You're recharging so you can come back stronger. Real people who achieve what you want to achieve don't say, I'll try. They say, I'm going there and I'm going to get there no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, no matter what I have to do. That's the mindset. That's the decision. That's the standard. You have to decide what you're going to become and then dedicate every ounce of your being to becoming it. There is no meant to be. There is no predestination. The life that was meant to be is the one you choose, the one you build, the one you refuse to abandon. I don't care where you came from. I don't care what your background is. I don't care how many people doubt you. Don't let anyone fool you. If you're willing to grind Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and keep showing up with consistency, they can't stop you. They can slow you down, but they can't stop you, because discipline always wins in the long run. So how much longer are you going to wait? Another 30 seconds? Another minute? Another hour? Another day? Are you going to keep telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow, while tomorrow keeps moving further away? There is no elevator to the top. In the world of success, it does not exist. You take the stairs, you take the steps, you take the repetitions, you take the hard days, and you stack them until they turn into results. It's time to get gritty. It's time to get intentional. The life you want isn't going to happen by accident. It's not going to happen by wishing. It's not going to happen by osmosis. You have to get up and go after it. And the enemy of your future isn't always a person. A lot of the time, the enemy is distraction. It's comfort. It's the easy way out. It's staying in bed. It's wasting the next 2 or 3 weeks pretending you have unlimited time. You don't. People waste years waiting for the right time, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for the pieces to fall into place, waiting until everything feels stable, comfortable, and guaranteed. But let me tell you something real. That moment is not coming. Life is not going to line everything up for you and then tap you on the shoulder and say, okay, now you're ready. That's not how it works. You want to know when the time is right? The time is right now. Not when you feel confident. Not when you have more money. Not when the timing is perfect. Now. Because if you're serious about success, you need to understand this. You don't have unlimited time. You don't have endless chances. There are only 86,400 seconds in a day, and once they're gone, they're gone. You don't get them back. You can't replay them. You can't store them. You either use them or you lose them. And if you want to win in life, it's not enough to just work hard. You have to move with urgency. You have to operate with speed. You have to execute with intensity. Not reckless, not sloppy, not out of control, but with purpose, with pace, with momentum. Because while you're taking your time, somebody else is on the same road you're on. Somebody else has a goal too. Somebody else wants the same opportunities. Somebody else is chasing the same level. Somebody else is trying to build what you're trying to build. And sometimes they're just as hungry as you are. They're putting in sweat too. They're taking losses too. They're going through pain too. They're sacrificing too. The difference is this: they are moving faster than you. They are not letting their day drift. They are not letting procrastination breathe. They are not giving themselves extra time to hesitate. That's why you need urgency. Because the world doesn't reward intentions. The world rewards execution. The world rewards the person who takes action first, the person who stays consistent, the person who moves while everyone else is thinking about moving. And here's the truth a lot of people don't want to hear. Maybe someone else has more resources than you. Maybe they have more support than you. Maybe they have more privilege than you. Maybe they have more connections, more money, more experience, more confidence. That's real. That happens. But one thing you can always control is your pace. You can decide to start earlier. You can decide to move quicker. You can decide to stop wasting time. You can decide to treat your day like it matters. Because if you get up late and you move slow, You're giving people a head start for free. And if you keep doing that every day, you're not just losing time, you're losing years. The average performer can read the same books. They can watch the same videos. They can even copy the same schedule and write down the same goals. But the person who moves with urgency wins the day. And if you win the day, you win the week. And if you win the week, you win the month. And if you win the month, you win the year. And eventually, you win your life. The present is a gift, and most people treat it like it's unlimited. They treat today like it's disposable, like they can waste it and still be fine. But life is unpredictable. One phone call can change everything. One day can change everything. There are no guarantees, and waiting is one of the most expensive habits you can have. Pick up the pace. You're moving too slow. You're hesitating too much. You're thinking too long and acting too late. You don't need more time. You need more urgency. You don't need a better plan. You need execution. You don't need another motivational video. You need to get up and move. Because if you want to finish something in life, you don't just finish. You finish fast. You finish with intensity. You finish with focus. You finish with a standard that says, I'm not dragging this out. I'm not stretching this into months when it could be done in weeks. I'm not turning this into years when it could be done in a season. Master the present. Master today, master Monday. Handle Monday like it's your responsibility. Then take Tuesday. Then handle Wednesday. Then Thursday. Then Friday. And when you get to the weekend, you don't collapse and disappear. You stay sharp. You stay disciplined. You stay intentional. Because winners don't only work when it's convenient. Winners protect their momentum. And when you start winning the day, your confidence changes. Your energy changes. Your results change. You stop looking for motivation because the progress becomes your motivation. You stop doubting yourself because you're building proof every single day that you can be trusted. So ask yourself, what is the benefit of waiting? What do you gain by delaying your dream? What do you gain by living below your potential? What do you gain by telling yourself later when later is not promised? Either you control your time or time will control you. Either you direct your day or your day will drift. Either you live intentionally or you live accidentally. And the truth is, procrastination doesn't need to be defeated with some complicated strategy. Procrastination dies the moment you start. That's it. You start and procrastination loses. You move and procrastination disappears. You don't negotiate with it. You don't sit with it. You don't entertain it. You shut it down and you do what needs to be done. So, what are you doing with your time? Are you moving towards something? Are you building yourself? Are you sharpening your skills? Are you making progress? Or are you letting the days pass, telling yourself you'll get serious soon? And I know what you want. You want 5 more minutes, just 5 more minutes of sleep, 5 more minutes of comfort, 5 more minutes of scrolling, 5 more minutes of waiting. No, rise up. Get aggressive with your future. Move forward like you mean it. Get yourself in the game. Shut down the distractions. Shut down that weak voice that keeps begging you to stay the same. Shut down all those pathetic excuses and get after it. If you're not consistently congruent with who you say you are, and you're not consistently contributing every day, then of course you're not going to feel proud of yourself. Of course your confidence is going to feel unstable. Because self-esteem isn't built by what you do once in a while. It's built by what you do repeatedly. It's built by the standards you hold when nobody is clapping, nobody is praising you, and nobody is reminding you to keep going. That lack of daily consistency is what destroys people from the inside. Not because they're weak, but because deep down they know the truth. They know what they said they would do, and they know they didn't do it. And that gap between your intentions and your actions is where your self-respect gets damaged. Because anyone can show up smiling once in a while. Anyone can be kind once in a while. Anyone can be disciplined for a weekend. Anyone can give effort when it's convenient. But the people who become unstoppable are the ones who demand consistency from themselves every single day. Those are the people who develop real confidence. Not loud confidence, not fake confidence, real confidence. The kind that doesn't shake when life gets hard. The kind that doesn't break when nobody believes in you. The kind that isn't dependent on validation, praise, or perfect circumstances. Because they don't rely on feelings. They rely on principles. They rely on discipline. They rely on standards. Even if you're nervous, you do it anyway. Even if you don't feel ready, you do it anyway. Even if you're the first one in your family to try something big, you do it anyway. Because people living on purpose don't spend their lives making excuses. They find a way. They adapt, they adjust, they get it done. Some of you have trained yourself